All right. Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Hokie Softball Podcast with Pete Demore. I'm Robert Bateman, and joining me per usual is two-time ACC Coach of the Year, Greater Washington Fast Pitch Softball Hall of Famer, currently undefeated and well-known 80s enthusiast, the one and only Pete Demore. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I think
It,
that the best thing he said was 5-0.
yeah, 5-0, definitely a big weekend for you guys. Let's just get right into talking about it. So, you successfully swept the Gamecocks, so I want to start there. Two ranked wins. And how important is it just to, get the one comeback in the second game and also just any highlights that you have over the two wins over the Gamecocks?
Well, a quality opponent, and you know, to play out there and get on the dirt. We haven't been outside for 2.5 weeks, so we didn't really know what to expect. We're a good team, but we had just haven't been outside, and um, it was just good to be out there against a good team, and just the same attributes that our program's built on, just resilience and toughness and never give up. And we saw that right away. So, to get 2 wins down there was a big deal.
All right, and then you went on to play an I-81 foe in Binghamton, where across 13 innings you won 15-4. And how about Nora Abramovich just smashing the leather off the ball in those games?
Right. She's like I said last week or 2 weeks ago, she's swinging the bat as well as anybody on our team. And I told the players after both games, Winthrop and Binghamton, that they could very well be in the regionals. They are good teams, good mid-major teams, and you can't overlook them. And we didn't. And it was a good schedule this weekend. So yeah, take the wins and move on.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Your third opponent was Winthrop, and you scraped by 1-0, but it was thanks to a lights out performance from Avery Layton in the circle.
Yeah, she came in and just dealed right away. Just commanded the strike zone, throwing hard. Was efficient. Great outing from her. And that's the one thing about our pitching staff and just our team in general. Give Avery the ball to start and go as long as you can. But we had people ready, but we just didn't need to use anybody. So she I think she threw 85, 90 pitches in a complete game, and it was pretty impressive.
So let's talk about the arms a little more. They combined for 39 Ks this weekend, with Brie Carrico also earning two saves in her four appearances. How reassuring is it just to know you have six different arms that you can throw into the circle and know you'll get good results?
Yeah, it's a benefit for me. Lets me sleep a little bit better. But that we're trying things out, and I said this last year that I want to have different looks and matchups and that kind of thing. And this year at least this weekend, we really hit that home, and it was almost you know get us one or two times through the lineup, and then we got somebody else, and then we have somebody else, and the players were really receptive to it. So to be able to have matchups and go as long as you can. I mean, Sophie was a great example. She threw really well on Saturday night and gave us 3 good innings. So now we have 4 innings to win instead of some Sophie go out there and give us all 7. We don't need that. It'd be awesome to have it. But go do your best, and we have somebody coming in after you, and it's a different look and better matchups or different matchups, and just a lot of mixed matching, and you know it worked. So I'm really excited to see how that works throughout the rest of the season.
Well, your bats were pretty hot too. You had six different players who had more than five hits over the weekend. Seven different players had home runs this weekend. So, what does that say about the depth of your squad and just the ability you have to throw any lineup out there and get hits?
Yeah, we're deep. We're deep, and that's the one thing. Nobody has to shoulder the load. It's similar to the years past, where if you have a bad at bat, who cares? Somebody's going to come in and help you out afterwards, and want the next at bat. But the cool thing was we had a lot of substitutions and different alignments as the game progressed. So I think during South Carolina we played 16 or 17 players, and so if we get the lead in the third, here comes the cavalry, and we're going to shut down on defense and be ready to hit. And just a lot of contributions from a lot of different people, and it looks different, and I'm sure it's different for players. Everybody wants to get on the field and just competitive athletics. I want to be a starter. I want to play all 7 innings. Well, right now, just contribute when you can, and everybody's valuable. And we saw that this weekend. I mean, there's a lot of different players that played, and they played awesome. So just be ready when your number's called, and they were this weekend.
How about Emma Mazerone hitting as well? She did well in the circle, but in her 4 games she played, she had 11 at bats, 3 hits, just a really solid performance from someone who's typically a pitcher.
Yeah, that's what the public sees, and I've said this a bunch of times. We've recruited Maz as a hitter. When I first saw her, she was hitting, and she didn't pitch. And the first couple of years here, she had to pitch more, and she loves to hit, and she can run, and she's got good at bats and good bat speed. And so go hit, and she has the ability to hit the ball a long ways with every swing that she takes. So great offensive weekend for her, and she likes to hit, so we'll let her do it.
So, how much of an impact from a mental standpoint do raked wins early in the season like this, play on with your team as they play tougher opponents in the year?
I don't know. I think we kind of go into every game thinking they're all important. So when you go down and you go to South Carolina, you're obviously amped up for those games, and it's a new environment, and it's a tough environment, and those will you get battle tested early. But Rob, the thing is, the Binghamton and Winthrop games are just as, or if not more important at the end of the season, to seeds and those kind of things. And like I said, they're good teams. They're very good teams. Is their RPI going to be top 20? I don't know. Probably not. But you have to win those kind of games. And so we don't ever put stock in, well, it's South Carolina or it's Winthrop. No, we just go out. We have to play every game to the best of our ability. And but at the same time, I'm not naive to think that playing on South Carolina's field against them is not a big deal. That's going to pay off in the long run.
So, your next invitational is the Queen City Classic in Charlotte, where you take on Villanova, Michigan State, and Charlotte. What has this week in preparation looked like as you get ready for the next batch of games?
Well, we really haven't we haven't prepared much. I know the boys are doing scouts and getting that all together. We were off on Sunday. We were off yesterday. We're gonna have practice today inside, but it's more so just maintaining what we've done. We're not really making any changes right now or anything. Let's just stay fresh. This is what we might see, that kind of thing. So if we practice today, it might be an hour and a half, and get out of here. So we'll be ready. We'll watch film and see what their pitchers are going to throw at us, and prepare accordingly, and get ready to play.
So I do want to just jump back to the last invitational. There was multiple times where you found yourself down in games early on, and then you came back to win, of course. So what are you saying to your teams when you give up runs early on to then spur them back into the winning category?
Well, it's just a mantra on our team that we're never out of games. And it's funny, we had I think we were down 4-1 or gave up 3 runs or something. And somebody came in the dugout, and I think it was a transfer or a freshman, and said, "Man, we gave up 3 runs before previously. Our game is over." And we're like, "No, not here, not here." So that's it's just a toughness and a belief in our offense that we're going to get it done. And that goes back to, you give up runs, who cares? Pitchers are going to give up runs. I'm not expecting zeros every inning, but if you can keep the damage down to 1, 2, or 3 runs in an inning and then stop it, that's okay. We'll handle the rest. But it's staying out of the big innings. 5, 6, 7. That's hard for our offense to overcome. So there's never a doubt or oh man, we're not going to score. We always think we're going to score, and that's the thing. If you see in past years, you can get us out the first time through the lineup. Second time, it's an even matchup. If we see a pitcher third time, we feel pretty good. We've seen we got a lot of information on a pitcher. So as the game moves on, it's kind of when we do a lot of damage offensively.
So obviously there are plenty of road trips coming up. So I'm curious, which coaches have been traveling with you in your van and who's been overseeing the aux on those trips?
uh, it was Josh and Mamu coming down last weekend. When it's typically when the driver handles the aux. So we went down there, and Mamo was driving, and it was eclectic. It was good stuff. And I drove about the last, I don't know, quarter of the drive, so it was my playlist. And Josh came up and he said he was putting together a playlist for his boys, and it was one song per artist. So it was like a greatest hits, but one song. So if you had AC/DC, what's the one song you'd play? And so I put a playlist together of mine, and I had about 70 songs, and we played that going down the rest of the to the trip to finish the trip, and then on the way home we played that one. So it was I was comfortable.
Sounds like a fun little playlist. Let's get into some story time with Uncle Pete. So, first question in this one, what was your favorite thing about the South Carolina trip this past weekend, and was the family able to come down with you?
Yeah, no family this weekend. I think they'll come to Georgia. Um, I like being around the players, obviously on the field, but being able to see them play and just compete. And so I'm always looking to see, if what we're doing is working, if what we're doing in practice or in the fall, is that going to translate into games? So that's kind of fun for me. And then just sitting around, we usually have a no phone time during dinner. So just hearing the players mix it up and see the personalities come back. That's fun for me to see.
Oh, that's always awesome. I'm curious. I know there's been a ton of snow days for the local schools around here. I believe 10 was what I was hearing. Has your son been involved in the snow day incidents?
Well, his school fortunately is in session. So yeah, he's been going to school. He had a couple days off when we initially got the snow and then the ice. So we went out and sledded quite a bit, and kind of scary for
Mhm.
me, but not for him. So it was fun. I think he's somewhat over it. He wants to get outside and play, but hopefully he won't get any more snow.
There you go. So I actually love the no phones at dinner thing, and I'm kind of curious, has the team been recommending anything to you recently, whether it's music, a movie, or something entirely different that they just really want Coach Pete to get into?
No, not really. They kind of know I'm an old man river. I've kind of set my ways, and no, they don't really recommend stuff to me. They recommended cake on the way home for Bree Carico and Sophie, who had birthdays this weekend. But we just got home so late that I don't know that they stopped or not, but that was the recommendation they had.
There you go. So do you have any fun road trip traditions that you guys try to stick to, or any traditions that have been growing throughout the season so far?
I don't think so. We're pretty regimented. I think one thing I started last year was after we watched film for games, I always tell a story to the players that have happened in my career or anything that pertains to the current team. And so I really didn't have anything going into the first game. I didn't think about it. And I said, "Do y'all want a story?" And they're like, yeah, we have to have a story. And so I had to come up with one on the fly, but they're all true. Sometimes they get embellished because, it could be 20 years ago that I saw something that pertains to now. But that might be the tradition before games is I have to get up in front of the team and just tell them something that gets them motivated or just gets them thinking about the current game.
I like it. So story time with Uncle Pete spreading on. All
Yeah.
right. So last question for you before we get out of here. What are you just most looking forward to as you head down to Charlotte next weekend?
Uh, just as roles get developed and established, just staying in the fight, our players staying in the fight, just know that sometimes what we're doing is all based in logic. It's not, there's no, well, this kid, she's terrible. No, none of that. What puts the best team on the field, that particular inning, that particular play that helps us win the game. And so that's a big one because it's different. And I understand that. And, just being prepared for the first game. And that's a scary thing for coaches. And for me, I've always been involved with double headers. I don't really like them because it's holding. You have to hold your attention for 14 innings or 8 hours, and that's hard to go pitch to pitch for 14 hours or 14 innings. And so just being ready, game one, take care of business, game one, reset, take care of business, game two, and what happened last weekend has no bearing on what's happening this weekend. You just got to go out and play.
All right. Well, Coach, let's hope for another 5 wins next weekend. I really appreciate your time.
You got it, Rob. Thank you.
Yep.